Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dan, and today I'm here with my coach, Billy.
Hey, guys.
Who was able to biohack me completely in every way, sleep, peak performance, and basically help me reach multi-6 figures at the age of 23. So I'm super excited to have Billy today on the channel. So what are we going to talk about today, Billy?
Essentially how we can optimize efficiency in regards to work, in regards to output, in regards to flow states, and then from there how every variable in regards to your health contributes to that and feeds into your work efficiency.
Perfect. So, before when I first got started as an entrepreneur, I never really cared about things like my sleep. I never cared about things like what I ate to an extent. I was like a bodybuilder bro before, and Billy knows all about that. He's observed some of my eating habits here, which sometimes I go back into that bodybuilder bro stage. But yeah, so I never really cared. But when I started working with Billy, I actually saw a video with Billy, who was he was also in an interview with another one of his clients.
Yeah.
And so I was fascinated by everything that Billy talked about. So biohacking specifically. So what is biohacking, and how can someone biohack themselves to basically make more money in their business and become more successful?
Yeah, so essentially biohacking in the context that we're referring to here, so with guys who are doing multi-6 figures a month or 7 figures in that bracket, essentially what we're looking to optimize is their performance and their well-being, especially in regards to their health, but also in regards to their focus and cognitive abilities as well. So from there, essentially in regards to assessing every environmental factor, so for example your sleep, from their nutrition principles, mindset protocols, and then from their training protocols as well, how all four variables then coincide, and then from there contribute in regards to work efficiency and output. So the key goal there is to then scale your business by then being aware of all those variables that contribute to that, and then from there obviously excel in that regard as well.
So why would the person watching right now, who is probably trying to get started with an online business, who might already have an online business and is looking to maybe reach 6 figures, 7 figures, why would they care about biohacking themselves and basically improving things like their sleep and their health? Why does that even matter?
For sure. So if you're that kind of individual, if you're working in an online business or in that space, you understand that in terms of your energy, that's going to be your battery, that's going to be your power as such. So from there you may have a strategy in regards to your business, taking your business from A to B, let's say from, we'll say 5 figures to 6 figures, but from there without the battery pack or the energy to do so, you can't even push that further forward. Mm-hmm. So from there in regards to understanding how your body functions and what's actually going to feed your body efficiently, that's very, very important in that process. So you don't get halfway through your work day, have a slump having had like your lunchtime meal, and then from there half your day is compromised. That's the last thing you want. So you want to understand the principles that then prevent that from happening and make sure you're more efficient as well.
Okay, so one of the first things that we did was we got an Oura ring.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we tackled was sleep.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So basically what happened was that before I didn't really, I was sleeping, and as soon as I kind of reached that level of financial freedom where I was able to work for myself full time, build my business, I was now able to actually sleep 8 hours a night, which is awesome. It sounds awesome, but I still felt tired. Even if I slept like 9 hours a night, I felt super tired, and I had brain fog almost half of the morning.
Sure.
And I had to basically pump coffee after coffee. So one of the first things we did was we actually worked on fixing my sleep. So what's involved in a good sleep? What are the different, you taught me about sleep cycles, so maybe talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the most frequent myths that's heard around modern society as such is that you should get 8 hours of sleep per night. If you do so, your sleep's efficient, and that is not the case. We have to understand is what I like to think about when you only have something in place like an Oura ring, which actually tracks your sleep metrics. It's like going into your bank accounts and seeing how much money you have in your bank account. You can hypothesize how well something's going. So for example, thinking you've got 10K in your bank account. If you don't look, you have no idea. Same with your sleep metrics here. So from there, having a metric assessment is very, very much important. Understanding that 8 hours of sleep, although is good in regards to duration, efficiency could be really, really poor, like Dan then said there. So from there in regards to feedback we assessed, his wake time was high, his REM sleep was pretty low, his deep sleep was pretty low, and those are really important metrics to be assessing in regards to sleep efficiency and quality as well, okay? From perspective of cognitive function, in regards to hormonal function, in regards to blood sugar regulation, all of the above. So from there, if you're an individual that says, look, I get more than 6 hours of sleep per night, I feel pretty good, you'd have no idea how you could be feeling if you made the 6 to 8 hours of sleep duration more efficient in that process, as Dan experienced as well.
Yeah.
And in regards to your health, sleep is going to be one of the most important variables, if anything, the key or the foundation to build upon, in my opinion, anyhow.
Yeah. And I completely agree. When I actually started tracking my sleep with the Oura ring, by the way, it's a ring, and you basically wear it. You can wear it all day. Do you wear yours all day?
Potentially, depends on the day. Yeah, okay. It's wearable tech, so it's awesome piece.
Yeah. It's about $300 now, I think, and basically you can go. There's a website you can go get it. And it's not too expensive. It's $300.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. And basically, I wear it to sleep every night. So let's say if I go to sleep at 10 and I wake up at, let's say, 8. So technically, that's 10 hours of sleep, right?
Yeah,
so before the previous Dan would say, okay, I slept for 10 hours. I should feel good. But in reality, the Oura Ring sometimes would tell me, okay, you were in bed for 10 hours, but you only slept for like 7.5. And so then I'd be like, okay, why? And so the Oura Ring actually tracks exactly when you're awake, right? Because 10 hours of sleep doesn't mean 10 hours of productive sleep.
Yeah.
And so I would often get like 5% deep sleep, 3% REM sleep, which would completely ruin my next day because I would feel really shitty, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I basically had this transformation where I went from having like really low REM sleep and deep sleep, which we'll talk about in a second, why that's important, to having like 20% REM sleep and 20% deep sleep, where I drastically feel way better, like every single morning when I wake up. So did you also have like low REM sleep, low deep sleep when you first got into this?
Yeah, so at that point there, from context in terms of my background, I was a national tennis player. And then from there, I started working as a personal trainer at the age of 18. So anyone who's in that industry will know that you have long working hours as a personal trainer and minimal time to sleep. That was the case for myself. And from there, I gained an understanding of how that was holding me back when I then put in place something like an Oura Ring to assess my sleep metrics. So from there, that became very apparent. And in regards to the work that I do with the clients that I work with in particular, like Dan, for example, same with these guys, like it's the whole concept of Gary V, grind hard, like sleep when you're dead, that kind of concept that's passed around in the digital niche. That's the last thing I'm going to be thinking about and putting in place by all means. And then from there, in terms of assessing clients, obviously understanding of their sleep and seeing how poor that was really important and prevalent to me, especially in this industry, as I said, in regards to fueling yourself like a battery pack. So yeah, I had compromised sleep previously speaking. So from there, understanding how significant that was in regards to my own energy, output, efficiency, cognitive capability, seeing the improvements with that being said, then from there replicating that and if anything heightening that with my clients. Yeah, that was really important.
So you basically, before you were a coach, a peak performance coach, you were a personal trainer.
Yeah,
and
correct,
you had a ton of clients where you like would coach them one-on-one at the gym. And so you said that you basically had no time to sleep because you would
basically. I was in the gym from 6 in the morning till 10 at night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Insane.
And your REM sleep and deep sleep was shit.
Yeah, it was awful. It was like below 10% for each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you can recommend to people right now to improve their sleep, improve their REM sleep and deep sleep, even if you don't have an Oura Ring? What are some recommendations?
Yeah, so from there, in regards to the way I work with clients, we focus on the lowest hanging fruit. So variables you can control without financial investment or low financial investment. I think that's really important to understand. Because in most contexts as well, you can focus on things like your routines, for example, which bring about more benefit than supplements would do in most cases, okay? From a perspective of how your body functions. So from there, first and foremost, I put in place a nightly routine in regards to putting in place a reverse alarm. So let's say 90 minutes out of your sleep start time you plan. Let's say you go to bed at 10, right? 90 minutes out, 8:30. From there, making yourself aware that you should be switching off from using tech sources, any blue light sources emitted by the light sources in this room, for example. From there, putting on your blue light blocking glasses, having a chamomile tea, even in place a brain dump. So from there, any thoughts or worries that are on your mind, putting them in place on like a laptop or writing them down on a piece of paper as well. And then from there, planning your day in advance. You have no stresses prior to going to bed. And then from there, unwinding with a book, or maybe even, for example, like at some point, some individuals like watching TV as well, but provided they're blue light blockers, I think that's okay. So from that, staying consistent with your sleep start and end times is going to be most important in regards to hormonal function, in regards to circadian rhythm as well. And for those of you who don't know what that is, circadian rhythm is essentially your body's internal clock. So from that, it works, and actually it's a 25-hour basis, which is really odd. 25-hour based off research papers is really odd. But from there, essentially, that's going to be really important in regards to getting efficient sleep. If your start time is like 10 o'clock on one night, 1 in the morning the other, your body's not going to know when to respond to sleep start and wake, okay? So from there, in regards to melatonin production, which essentially incurs sleep as a natural hormone, melatonin is what's produced when you want to go to sleep. Your body won't be producing that frequently or at the right times if your sleep start time is all over the place. And in regards to waking up, you know when you guys feel groggy in the morning, like the first half an hour, you feel kind of groggy?
Brain
like,
fog.
Why the hell is that?
Yeah.
It's actually because cortisol is being produced and it's clashing with melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So cortisol is a stress hormone produced to wake you up. If at that point there your sleep end time is inconsistent as well, cortisol can be produced really infrequently at really odd times. So in regards to that brain fog feeling, it can last for an entire day as opposed to lasting for the first 10, 15 minutes of your day. And again, in regards to working on your laptop, in regards to working with consulting clients or your business, that's really the last thing you're ever going to want. So really important to be aware of.
And I had days of like where I would just feel like shit, like brain fog to the max entire days, and I would wear my Oura Ring the night before and my REM sleep would be really bad. And that was because I didn't follow the circadian rhythm where I didn't like go to sleep at the same time. So usually, let's say if I go to sleep usually at about, I would say I'm in bed by 10, and then I wake up naturally at 7:38 latest. And so that way I don't do any alarms or anything like that. But sometimes, as entrepreneurs, you have a lot of work. So some nights I would go to sleep at 1, which would mess up the whole next day, and that would really ruin everything. And I really underestimated kind of that before I started working with Billy. So Billy, for someone watching right now who maybe they're just trying to focus on becoming more successful financially, they want to grow their business, and they don't really see how maybe sleep, even after everything we've said, like sleep and health and eating, they don't really see how that kind of ties into it. They understand, okay, you got to go to the gym, you got to eat healthy, but why would all of this stuff, like can you explain how much of an impact it actually has? Because I underestimated it myself. I was like, yeah, you know what, eat healthy, high protein. We're always told go to the gym, 3-4 times a week. Yeah. But there's a whole lot more to that. We just talked about sleep, and that's just honestly skimming the surface. Yeah. So just like talk about how it actually is important, and like how much of an impact it really has on everything, on someone's business.
So first and foremost, in regards to wanting to optimize every aspect of your performance and obviously your business in results of that, you should be wanting to optimize brain function. And then from there, as I said, in regards to cognitive flow as well, that's really, really important because again, your brain is essentially what's going to build your business at that point, right? So from there, most of you watching this content will have had a degree of strategy in regards to what to do to push your business further forward. But again, from there, if you can't do that to the full capacity you should be able to push further forward with, then obviously you're not going to gain the best results you could do in that process. So from there, upon assessment as well, you can look at examples like Sam Ovens, for example, individual who takes care of his health with great pride, maybe not to the full extent that I'd like him to at some points, but with certain things, but anyhow. And then from there, also in regards to, for example, clients that I've worked with, like Iman Gadzhi, for example, at that point, they've been working together for what now, about 18 months. And I've seen the guy go from 50K per month to 250, 300K per month in that process. And throughout that process, we've been optimizing every variable of his health, like his, for example, EMF blockers, EMF canopies, his room blue light sources. Essentially, it's a Wi-Fi source. I'll talk to you guys about that later in the video as well, potentially. Not to worry about that too much for now, but yeah, we're focusing on the fine details, and obviously the fine details then accrue and then build up over time and compound. That's really, really important. So you guys should think of yourselves being like business athletes as opposed to just businessmen. I think that's really important to understand as well.
And women.
Yeah, and women, of course. Yeah, and also from perspective of longevity, you guys will hit a certain phase where if you aren't taking care of your health and managing and regulating that aspect of things, you'll reach burnout. What I mean by your health, I do mean everything in regards to your sleep, nutrition, mindset protocols, and then from their training. I think they're the most important 4 variables to understand. If you focus on them and then focus on that in terms of your environment, how you incorporate all of them at once, you'll have success with your health, provided you have systems in place as well. I think that's really important to understand.
So what about, we talked about sleep, what about eating? So for me, we actually started intermittent fasting. And so I tried it a few times, but I didn't have the guidance. And so I just started getting dizzy randomly, and I would be like, okay, no, I don't want to pass out. I have work to do, and I don't have time for this. So, so talk about that, like intermittent fasting, and also like the most ideal way to eat. So.
Sure. Well, I mean, the whole concept of intermittent fasting isn't from perspective like a fitness perspective as such. So the whole concept of wanting to get lean, yes, that'll be a byproduct of intermittent fasting, but the reason why putting this in place here is to actually regulate your blood sugars better. So for those of you guys, and I'm sure guys and girls out there, most of you would have experienced this, where you have like a slump after eating food. So from there, after breakfast or after lunch or even after dinner, you feel like in regards to your function or your ability to function, it depreciates drastically, right? And you've experienced that yourself, right?
Yeah.
I've experienced it too. Yeah. That happens all the time.
I used to for breakfast, I used to eat like cereal, like sugary cereal, and then I would I'd feel good for like 30 minutes, and then after that, with the coffee, I'd get a slump from the caffeine and the carbs, which would make me want to take a nap, which obviously isn't ideal, a nap during your most productive hours.
Yeah, so for context, in regards to the reason as to why we put in place an intermittent fasting protocol is to regulate your blood sugars. Now, in regards to your blood sugars, if you are to eat any food, let's say carbohydrate-based food or something, even first thing in the morning, at that point there, your blood sugars are neutral from your fast and obviously from sleep. You're fasting whilst you're asleep, of course. From there, as soon as you intake any food source, which isn't mainly fat-based, from there, your blood sugar is going to spike, and then from there, it will crash at some point, no matter what. So from there, for example, we're working, you've had a breakfast, you may crash at 10 o'clock, when realistically, that should be your most productive time in regards to work, especially from a willpower perspective. You've got the most of it at that point there. Wield it and utilize it. So in regards to the way that I work with my clients, we put in place an intermittent fasting protocol, which roughly lasts 16 hours in duration for a fast, and then from there, an 8-hour eating window. From there, personally speaking, I try to minimize that more, so that comes with time as well, and I put that in place for Dan. Yeah. And then from there, put in place a protocol in regards to how to break a fast efficiently, so he doesn't have that afternoon slump. And then from there, in regards to his meal timings in the evening as well, to make sure that in terms of his sleep, it's efficient as well, which is really important. So obviously nutrition being a precursor to your circadian rhythm as well. So it's really, really important to assess all of these variables and how they come together.
Yeah, like I went from eating like 6 small meals a day to eating 2, I guess, really big meals a day. And honestly, I feel much better, and I have way more time to do work because the amount of time it takes to cook and to get all the ingredients ready, to wash the dishes, it's ridiculous. Like, it's like half of your day is gone. And like that's, I thought if I wanted to eat healthy, I'm going to buy groceries and I'm going to cook. And so this is so much better. So, and that's just one of the aspects. So we covered sleep and then food. So how to like regulate your blood sugar. What else is there? We have fitness. So working out.
Training protocols. Yeah.
So should someone be working out? Can they just only maximize their sleep and like food? What do you think? Like for focus and for concentration on work?
Yeah, of course. I think it's really important. And then from there also, in terms of your body and the function of that, you are an individual we're human, right? So we should be active individuals. Shouldn't be people that are sat at a desk all day. And from there, if you were to do that all day, you'd find that in terms of your function, also in regards to your enjoyment from work, it'd be very minimal, I believe, from that capacity anyhow. So from there, in regards to training protocols, I do put that in place for my clients too. I think that's really important. But one of the most important things to understand is that we're not trying to achieve like a bodybuilding-esque goal, which is a misunderstanding with certain elements of the fitness space, I think, especially as an entrepreneur. When you guys are going into the gym, you shouldn't be looking to, let's say, train to failure in every training session. Your idea of going into the gym is to rejuvenate yourself in regards to energy, and then from there also in regards to potentially like mental capacity too. So the last thing you should be doing is going into every working set and hitting failure, and then from there leaving the gym feeling exhausted and not being able to work. That's not the point of our training protocols. The point is to make sure your body's functioning efficiently, you're mobile as such, and then from there in regards to energy levels, we're obviously heightened as a result of that. It's to benefit you, it's not to make you feel like you're dying after the gym. So that's really important to understand too, I think.
Any particular like ways that people should train, like 3 days a week, 4 times a week? Does that matter? Should it be like a push-pull legs, full body?
Yeah, obviously that would be very much depending on your goal in regards, for example, like a physique related goal, in my personal opinion. From there, I believe at least provided that you're training at least, let's say 3 to 4 times per week, and you're training different energy systems. So from there, incorporating a base of, let's say, an element of cardio work as well, strength related work. I think that's really important in regards to every variable of physical health, as opposed to just a variable of obviously achieving like a physique related goal. From there, personally speaking, I do train 5 to 6 times per week, which is fairly high in regards to frequency. Again, I'm from like an athletic background and I enjoy that element of training. I think it's really important. But I also regulate how my body's functioning in response to that. So for example, I'm pushing myself to a limit in regards to fatigue and accumulating that, I know. And that's based on my HRV metrics, and you get that from aura feedback too, same as Dan. So from there, I regulate that with clients too, because again, training is a source of inflammation, or it could cause stress on the body. So from there, regulating that and seeing how stressed your body is really important too, especially as an entrepreneur, because again, you don't want to hit like a burnout phase or have a day where you can't work because physically you're fatigued. That's the last thing you want to have.
Yeah, and about that HRV that Billy mentioned, so basically the Oura Ring, when you wear it, it gives you like a whole kind of list of different metrics. Like for example, HRV stands for heart rate variability.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and so I had no idea what and how could that even affect my life, what that is. But heart rate variability, basically, you can probably explain better, but from what I understand, heart rate variability tells you like how much stress you have that you don't notice, right?
Yeah, essentially it's like parasympathetic nervous system stress. So stress that accumulates over time you're not necessarily aware of.
And your sleep tells you how much stress you have.
Yes, there's irregularity in between heartbeats, which is really important to be aware of. And again, most individuals don't know what HRV is.
Yeah, no.
Most athletes at a really high level will be aware of it, and they'll use a heart rate monitor to track that. You can track it during the day as well. But obviously in terms of context with Oura, you can track that in the night as well, which is really important. So I can actually see when my clients are going through a period of time where they're really stressed, and then from there need to put in place like a meditation protocol, or from there make them aware that their work capacity is probably, they're pushing it too high potentially, and then from there they hit like a period of burnout, which is really important. So from there, most clients that I come into contact in terms of working with, these guys are earning, let's say 7 figures, high 6 figures, like Dan, for example. And I'll come into contact with them when they are in a period of stress. So from there, the HRV score will be really low, and they won't have in place anything to mitigate stress. And again, as an entrepreneur, the thing you should be wanting to avoid or mitigate at all costs would be stress, because it's going to compromise your function and performance, right? Mm-hmm. You are in a business or a business space where we will obviously then witness stress, and then from there have that in your daily routine. But from there, mitigating it to the best of your ability is really important in terms of obviously reaching a state of flow, and then from there pushing forward in regards to creativity as well. So yeah, we assess that with Aura metrics and sleep, and we did so for Dan as well. Dan wasn't aware of what stress could incur. Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea. But do you think every single person watching this should get an Oura Ring?
It depends. Obviously, financially speaking, if you can invest in it, yes.
Well, it's only $300.
Yeah, I think also that'd be awesome if you could do. I definitely, all my clients that I work with have to have an Oura ring in place, otherwise we can't give them the feedback we want. And yeah, from there, obviously, as I said, it's like, for example, thinking that your sleep is good, thinking that your bank account's good, but if you can't check both, you have no idea, no context behind that. So yeah, I think it's really, really important.
So Billy, 5 things that someone watching right now could like start doing today to massively improve their life and their income.
Yeah, first and foremost, be aware of your sleep routines and the protocol to make sure that your sleep efficiency is high. From there, put in place more of a daily routine that's efficient. So what I mean by that is in regards to like a Pomodoro technique in regards to your work blocks, so 80-20. Or from there, also incorporate movement in regards to your work blocks and work breaks. So from there, I actually have like a basketball hoop in my apartment, so that when I work, I work for roughly 50 minutes in regards to my work block, a 10-minute movement break. And from there, in regards to my performance, is heightened as a result of that.
So you hold on a second. So you basically, when you work, let's say you work for 8 hours. So every hour you move.
Yeah, every hour I move.
And you play basketball or whatever.
Yeah. With some music going, as opposed to like checking my phone or doing anything which can distract me cognitively. Yeah.
Okay, and like so should it have to be basketball? Can you do like some squats, jumping jacks?
You could do anything. Yeah, press ups, squats, maybe like a little full body routine, body weight, even just some movement out in the sun. That's really important, especially in regards to incorporating movement into your work blocks. Because most individuals find that if they're working, let's say anything in excess of 4 hours, they're just sat at their desk for 4 hours time. Anything past that, their productivity declines massively, and they don't really know where the time goes after that point.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're looking to achieve in those work blocks is full intent and focus, and as I said, flow. And again, that's a state where you feel like you have no sense of time, you have no sense of what's going on around you, externally speaking, you're just focused on the task at hand. And that's how we then get into that state. I think it's really important as well.
So the first thing was regulate your sleep.
Yeah.
So go to sleep at the same time every night.
Yeah, correct.
And don't use an alarm to wake up.
No.
Preferably.
Obviously, if you're an individual who's looking to then maximize, obviously building a business at that point there, maybe it's not necessarily possible, but yeah, if you can do like Dan, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And then second thing?
Yeah, so from there, in regards to obviously like Pomodoro technique with work blocks, or from there movement incorporated into that. From there, actually putting in place something like even like a standing desk will then increase your productivity more so. I think that's really important for most people to understand as well. Again, your body's not designed to be static. I think incorporating that is really, really important too. From there, being aware of
switching between basically standing desk and sitting. Do you think that's also good?
Yeah, massively speaking, especially in regards to regulating blood sugar, and that's actually the next point to be referring to as well. So let's say that's like point 4 at that point. In regards to regulating blood sugars, that is so severely important. From there, otherwise, in terms of cognitive function, focus, and output, it's going to decline massively. So if you don't know how to regulate your blood sugars by putting in place a fasting protocol, nor how to break your fast efficiently, from there at that point there you'll find that your work is going to decline in regards to performance. So yeah, really, really important too. And then lastly, understanding what then is going to cause stress, and then from there trying to remove that from your environment, and then making assessment of how you're performing in regards to stress or in response to stress. And then from there understanding when your body's like a capacity, and then from there potentially even like taking a break or revising our protocols. So putting in place like a meditation protocol to reduce stress, mitigate stress. Obviously that's really important as well.
So let's talk about like some people that you worked with. So just for example, with myself, the transformation that I had with Billy when I first started working with him, let's say right before, I always had this like I always had this want where like I wanted to optimize my health, and I wanted to find out the perfect diet, figure out the perfect amount to eat, the perfect frequency, the perfect workouts. But I always, no matter what I tried, I always had like this shiny object syndrome where I was always like, wait a second, 6 meals a day or 1 meal a day? Intermittent fasting, or do I just eat all the time? Like I didn't know, because there's so many sources online. It's very confusing. And so with Billy, I went from basically not knowing anything about my health, not knowing anything about my sleep, not really caring, having the desire to actually find out, because I knew that it would directly affect my business. But yeah, I went from that to now I have like a very clear idea. Even if I stop working with Billy, like now I know exactly what to do for the rest of my life. So it's like, honestly, man, like you've helped me massively. So I'm very thankful for that. And awesome. I'm sure that you have other like stories, like talk about some of the people that you helped as well.
Yes, the majority of clients I work with are guys who are doing 6 figures, multi-6 figures, and then from there 7 figures. So I came into the space by working with Iman Gadzi, who's in digital marketing, and from there we identified what exactly he needed in regards to optimizing his health and how we put in place those systems. And the most important thing with the clients that I work with is putting in place systems. So from there, things that people can repeat on a daily basis without too much confusion. I think that's really important as well, because in regards to this process, we don't want them to invest too much time that detracts from their work. So from there, we incorporate variables or strategies that we can incorporate daily and weekly, which don't detract from your work, which is really important, especially with working like Dan, for example. Dan's looking to reach bigger and better heights every day. So from there regards to our work together, we don't want to put in place too many things that require too much time on his part. So from there, simple protocols and procedures and systems, and then from there, contribute them or involve them in his environment. I think that's really important. Yeah, so I work with guys in digital marketing, e-commerce, guys who are doing 7 figures at that point there. That's the majority of clients that I work with, and then from there, 6-figure clients too. And then from there, I built a team around my service. So a team of individuals that engage with my clients daily. We have accountability calls as such. We review systems and protocols, and move forward in regards to making sure the process is efficient for everyone involved.
So do you think that like biohacking, I guess that's what it's called, biohacking.
Yeah.
Do you think that biohacking is gonna really like take off as not as a trend, but like as something that like the gym, like fitness, like people, especially entrepreneurs who we always want to like optimize everything in their lives. Do you think that it's just the beginning right now?
Yeah, I think it's just beginning. I think the entrepreneurship niche or like digital aspect of this world will then be separated into 2 kind of species as such. And I like to think of it as being like, I refer to the analogy of being running in a marathon, for example, and thinking that everyone has to run a marathon in this day and age to make a living, right? And the space is obviously very, very competitive, and then from there the prize money is exponential. So individuals in that marathon space will then start doping, or they'll start using performance-enhancing drugs and obviously equipment. And actually, in the real world right now, that's exactly what we can do. And what I mean by that, for example, is individuals who are obviously wanting to achieve the best results will put in place things to improve their performance. Like, for example, working with myself, or from there putting in place their health protocols. Those who don't do that will be the runners that are left behind. And those who do this will then exceed in regards to their heights, their capacity, everything. So I think you'll see a divide in regards to, as I said, 2 separate species of entrepreneur. Guys who don't put in place anything for their health, as a result, are left behind because their capacity is so low in regards to performance. And those who do put in place things for it, obviously in terms of performance enhancing, and then from there will then push further forward in terms of their capacity, their output, their flow. Yeah.
So if I was a beginner entrepreneur right now, maybe someone who's just starting out with online business, with wanting to start their own business, I should not follow the Gary Vaynerchuk approach of basically working like a zombie until 2 a.m.
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. No.
But I'm gonna get more work done. Like, you know.
In regards to duration of work, potentially, and with that being said, but from there in regards to efficiency, no. Would you rather have, let's say, for example, like an 8-hour workday, which is incredibly efficient, or from there a 16-hour workday, which is awful in regards to efficiency, and you actually achieve less in that time?
So you think that all the like the people that are saying they're grinding all the time, they're hustling, you think they're just not really getting a lot of work done? They're just basically glued to their computer and like slouched and like basically just on Facebook half the time. Like,
realistically, you are.
Yeah. And that was me, by the way. That was me.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought I was like, you know, grinding and hustling, but in reality, you know, half of the time was spent on YouTube and Facebook and just, you know, not doing the work. And so now it's so much better because first of all, the intermittent fasting, that helped me so much because now like so much less time off the meals, the sleep, I feel fantastic every morning. I don't have to drink like 4 cups of coffee a day anymore. One thing that Billy helped me a lot with is supplementation. So basically figuring out the best supplements to take. And I'm not talking about protein powder or creatine or anything like that. I'm talking about like what were like just some like magnesium before bed. I had like why like what does magnesium do? Why do I have to take it? Right? I can guarantee most people watching this video don't do that, but magnesium is actually a muscle relaxant, right?
Yeah.
And so that also it's magnesium. And there's like an entire stack that like Billy basically you know, like showed me like what these are the things that you have to take, and that is honestly overnight my deep sleep, REM sleep improved. And honestly, like I think for someone out there just trying to get started with their online business, I think like getting a coach or at least just watching more videos on biohacking, right? Like you can visit Billy's YouTube channel. You just started a channel recently. Yeah. So link is going to be down below. You guys can go check out Billy. Like honestly, you should really concern yourself with this and you should start learning or, you know, do something, because if you don't, you're going to realize that the people that are like either working with Billy or like learning about this stuff themselves, you know, they're way ahead of you if you don't actually learn this. Do you agree?
Yeah, totally. And I've seen that rise from, as I said, clients doing like 50k a month to 250 in a month, and in such a short period of time, I think it's drastic. Yeah.
All right, so Billy, thanks for this interview. It was
absolute pleasure.
It was fantastic, and I'm so happy to have you on the channel. Like honestly, it's a good break from all the online business like tutorial content. So you guys can go check out Billy. He has a new YouTube channel down below. Link is down below, and also we're gonna put a case study down there where you can go. It's completely free, and if you're more interested about actually like, you know, the best ways to biohack yourself, your health, really improve your sleep and eating as well as your business through all of this, then in that case study below, it will be free. You can go and find out every single technique, every single step that Billy actually, it's like a specific entrepreneur that you helped, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can go click the link below his YouTube channel in the description, and you can figure out the exact steps, exact techniques. So thanks a lot, Billy.
Dude, absolute pleasure to go for it.
Yeah, thanks for being on the video. And subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Billy's channel, like the video, leave a comment. I'll see you soon.